I'm Dan Galushin. Welcome to another edition of Shoot and Plink. As you can tell, we're in our backyard airgun range today. We're not out at Cedar Oaks, and the reason being is it's just going to be testing a pellet that I talked to you about just recently. It's put out by Sig Sauer. Grab it here. It's a wad cutter type, and it's a match, as they call it. It's called a match PB, and it's by Sig Air, which is Sig Sauer. And there's like 500 of them in here, and I don't know what, I think I got them for about $8 for this, and that was probably on Midway USA, so it can tell you about what the prices is on it. Start off with that right off the bat. Do not know how this is going to shoot. What I have done, I'll lay this down, what I've done is I've picked 3 of my favorite non-CO2 guns, because that's a lot of what you shoot with in the backyard. The one is, of course, my Gamo. You knew I'd do that. The Gamo Swarm. That's the 10, the Fusion 10, and we're definitely going to be shooting this. But I got 10 rounds already loaded in it. I've got a target set up back here. I've used those sticky targets like we've had before that I put on AR-500s. Well, this I just put on a backing board, and we're going to shoot at those and just see on the accuracy. Then we're going to plink, and I don't know, you can probably see those. I set up some of my favorite cardboard inserts that are in the big toilet paper rolls. We're going to fire at those, and those are fresh ones, so you're going to be able to see where it hits. But another one that we're going to be using, and this is really one of my favorite pick-me-up and shoot as far as rifles go. It's this one right here. Really lightweight. We've done reviews on it. We've used it many times here in Shoot and Plink. This is an Umarex product. It's the NXG. It's a multi-pump like that. So we'll be pumping that up, doing some shooting with that. And could not bypass using my Browning, Umarex Browning, I should say, Buck Mark, with the actual Browning Buck Mark reflex sight. And so we're going to be firing those and just seeing on the accuracy. What I'm going to do is on the left side, I'm going to be firing the Gamo rifle, the Fusion 10. And that Swarm will be, like I said, trying to take out the left side of it. And hopefully I'll hit it in the middle with that. I'm going to be shooting it at 10 yards. This one, I may come up to the 7-yard mark, which is a lot of times what you shoot a pistol at. And this one will shoot at the right side. As far as the NXG, I'm not sure if I'm going to shoot at one of those or just use it to see what it's going to do on plinking. We'll just find out. So what do you say we start shooting, and we're going to start with the Gamo Swarm. So let's get going. Now I'm going to grab that Browning, and we're going to shoot at the right side, so I'll get you over to there. You can't tell. I'll have to take a look at that while I'm switching things around here. Okay, I've got you switched over there. You're up here about 5 yards, something like that. I'm going to move back to 7 and then fire at that one that you're zoomed in on. It seemed like the other one, I got a lot of them grouped there close to the center. Not too bad. So let's see what it'll do with this pistol. Well, I think that's enough for us to get an idea of what it does. Fired those. I'm going to get the other one now, and I'm going to take a look and just see which target I want to shoot that. I think what I'll do is the Umarex NXG, I'll just fire it from on the same one that you're already on, which is a pistol one. Kind of scattered around, I noticed, but I'm shaking that pistol pretty hard, and I don't know really why, but I was. We'll see what I can do with this rifle, this Umarex. And I'm going to go back there a ways again, back where we were firing the other one in there. Okay, that's probably enough of those, because I know what it was doing on the other. I'll take a look. From here, it looks like those did pretty good, but I don't know. I'll take a closer look. Okay, we'll take a look at these. Definitely, the Swarm, it's got a very tight grouping right in here, which is not too bad. I got several of the rounds. In fact, there's only 2 out here. There's another one over here, so those were out in that area. Again, this is all freestanding on the shooting. This, I would say probably the little Umarex NXG did about as good as the pistol did. None of them hit in the middle, so I can't say that it's extremely good on those. But it, you know, this is a 3-inch target, by the way. So, you know, I guess it's not too bad. Especially with this one, there's a lot of them, as I said, right there in the middle. There was 10 rounds I fired over there. Over here, I don't know exactly how many I fired. There's only one outside of there. I don't even know which one I did that, but the others are up in here, several of them. So between the two, that wasn't too bad. What we're going to do now is we're going to do some plinking, and just see how good this is for a plinking type thing. I think probably it'll be pretty good for that. And as I said, we're going to shoot those cardboard things, and then we're going to take a look at those up close and just see where it hit. So, as I said, I'm probably not going to fire a lot of rounds at this because I want to compare them. So let's get back there and we're going to shoot again. Well, what I've done is I've loaded just 3 pellets into the Swarm, and we're going to try to take out those 3 that are on the left. If it doesn't knock them all down when I hit the first one. Well, of course, I'll take the top off, hopefully, first. And we'll go back and then we'll take a look at them and just see how good of a strike it hit as far as, because I'm going to shoot for the middle of them. I put all 3 rounds into that one. Let's take a quick look at that, because that's the only one that it hit. It did not knock it off there, as you could well see. It's kind of weird. So, just wait a minute, and I'll go pick it up. Okay, all 3 rounds, as you can see, are very clear cuts on it. That's somewhat impressive, because they are perfectly round, no keyholing, nothing like that. They are fairly much in the center on it. They cleared it in the back. So, I would say that's not too bad. We may come back to plinking this, but I want to try some of the others. You know, got plenty of them setting up there now. So let's load up the Buck Mark, and I'll fire at one of those others to the left. Well, I got that one, and it took it out completely. Go on the next one there. Did the same on that. I'll take out that top one before we use the Umarex NXG. Okay, now let's take a look at those 3. Right, I picked these up. Take a look at these. I fired at 3 of those up there. Not one pellet went through. See? No holes. This is the one that's closest to it. It's up here. I don't understand. I know I was firing back at 7 yards like we did before, but who knows? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take that NXG now. We're going to pump that up 3 pumps just like I did before, and we're going to fire that and see what it does with these, and I'm going to set these right back up the way I have. We know if we knock holes through with that, it definitely goes that way, and otherwise, I don't know, it might not be real good for a pistol. So let's try it this way. Well, I'm going to use 3 pumps like I did before with it when we were actually shooting at the regular target. We'll see what it does with this. Well, that fired more like what the Swarm did when it didn't really pick it off. So that might be cut all the way through. You may have seen it. I can't see it, not from where I'm at. And of course, you always got to bear with me on this. This is a one-shot thing, and when you get one not loaded properly, like I just did. In fact, I dropped it in the wrong spot. Sorry about that. Believe it or not, that pellet dropped all the way into the BB reservoir, so I had to fish that out. It wasn't any big deal. I just opened up that little door and out came the other side. So let's see what happens there. Okay, again, now that one looks like a smack right in the middle. That's pretty good. Let's take a look at those 3. Okay, I'm glad I went and picked these up. This one right here was probably the clearest cut right there. You can see that hole. That one went through pretty good, and this is 3 pumps like I did before. This one, it went through, but not a good clear cut like we had with the Swarm. And this one went through, but it looked like it keyholed on us. So that means it turned. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to try a little bit more of an oomph and pump it up a few more times, maybe 5 pumps. Because I've been doing it 3, and 3's been working pretty good, at least it did on paper. So we'll put these back and we'll shoot it again, and we'll see what happens with it with a few more pumps to it. Again, we're going to try 5 pumps just to see. It's just a couple more, and we'll see how that goes through. I'll take out the one that's on top first. Okay, we hit that one, and it looks like I hit it just about center, right about where I was aiming. And it does look like it cut through pretty good. We'll find out. Put a couple more pellets in. We're going to hit those on the bottom where I'd done them before. Again, it acted just like the Swarm. I can see the hole from here, so that wasn't too bad. I'm going to get that one that's underneath the left side there, as you're looking at it, the left side. That's 5. Okay, now we'll take a look at those. Well, obviously, as you can see here, now that one went through, trying to keep them the way they were. This one went through pretty good. That's a good clear cut. And this one is fair right there. So, you know, you can see that it needs a little bit more velocity, and because of that, we're going to try that pistol again. We got 2 more. We're going to move up a little bit now. I was probably back a little bit further than 7 yards when I fired that. We got a couple of them down here, as you can see, that I haven't shot at. So we're going to take, I'm trying to give this pellet all the advantages, you know, to see, because I really think it's a good pellet, and I'll show you one reason why. Also loads very easy, and I'll bring that up. Seems like if a pellet loads very easily. In other words, you can drop it into the magazine with the Swarm. Loads that easy, it isn't always as good as far as an impact or distance or anything like that. So I'm kind of wondered on that. That's why we're going to fire that at these two with that pistol again and just see what we can do. I popped it off just like I did before. So that really doesn't mean that it cut through, because with the rifles, as you see, they stayed put. We'll see what happens. Now we'll take a look at those, because whatever's there is the only holes that are going to be there is for me. Alright, I picked them up. They did the same thing. Did not go through. There was no clear cut hole whatsoever. Just a dent, as you can see here, that it dented it pretty good. So that means it leads a little bit more velocity. Same here, it dented it. That's all there is to it, just dents. That's why it jumped off of there like that. And just before we leave here, I'm going to take the Swarm and I'm going to show you what I mean about the easiness of it loading, how that pellet drops in. So I'll show you how I'm loading the magazine for the Swarm, and then we're going to shoot it at all 6 of these and see how it works. Okay, here's the magazine for the Swarm, as you know, and you pull it around like this, open up the hole, I get a pellet, and I'll show you what I mean about the ease of dropping it in. Hardly had to do a thing with it. You didn't have to push on it, nothing else. It fell in very loosely. I'll take another one. See, I'm not even having to push them in. They're just falling in place. And with that, there. See, I'm just bumping them over. I'm not pushing them in like you do a lot of times on these magazines, especially like your, say like your Crossman 1077 or your Umarex Ruger 1022. You just bump this and it goes in. I'm not pushing them at all. They're just landing on an angle. If I'd hit it straight down the middle, and there goes a pellet, but I'll try to get that later. And we'll put that one in. See, just if I can drop it straight down. Now, see, that's nothing to it. It wants to fall right into the hole. You don't have to do any pushing on these whatsoever. Just the only thing, you just bumping them in there. So they're very, very easy to load. Now that I like, but if that's the reason that they're not firing the way that, because you could be losing some velocity on this like that. Again, I'm just going through and showing you. Now, see, I pulled that pellet right back out and had to put it back in. So they're going in that easy, and normally if you put one of these pellets into anything, it's not going to come right back out that easy. If I shake that thing, I can get those pellets out. That really shouldn't be. So I'm not too sure why it does that, but it does. Here, this one's loaded and ready to go. And we'll put that in here. Just like that. And what I'm going to do, you know, I just told you I was going to shoot those cardboard things again. No, we're going to shoot some of our K-cups like we've done in the past. So let's have some fun and see how accurate this is for plinking. Okay, there are our K-cups, as you can see. I'm going to start from the left, go to the right, and depending on how it hits, who knows what's going to happen. You know, that was pretty good for plinking on these, because you can see they're not all that big, and as you can see here, some of these I shot twice, as you noticed, because I had some extra ammo. And look at that, direct center that one is on it. In fact, most of them, the ones that I got, are pretty much direct center. There's another one right there. Another one, direct center. Can't hold on to all of them, or I'd have brought all of them over here. Another one direct center, and then when it was laying on its side, I got it over here. There was even some, I don't know if I grabbed it or not. Yeah, this one right here. I shot, when this was laying on its side, I shot at the bottom of it, and I went right through the bottom and come right out here. So that's not too bad. Shoot that bottom off that distance, and you know, I'm happy with that results on that. Oh, I told you I was going to show you one of those pellets, and hopefully you can see it up close here. This is, as I said, a flat top, just like a wad cutter is. This is very flat on these. It has got a nice taper. The skirt is, to me, the skirt has got a heavy outer area. I don't know if you can see that or not. It's a heavy outer area ring. I like that, and I like it because of the skirt. The skirt is not fluted. It is straight, as I imagine you can see that too. I hope you can. I don't know. Maybe I can't get that around for you to see. Right there. I want you to see the skirt. Hopefully you can see that. Yeah, right there. Anyway, the skirt's not fluted. Every one of them seems to be exactly the same. So that I'm impressed with. What is causing the problem, as far as, we got some hornets around here, I'll tell you. What's causing the problem as far as not going through with the pistol? Just not enough velocity, I presume. And again, I'm kind of wondering if it's because it loads so loose. It's very loosely loaded on every one of them, as you've seen. That's why I showed you that magazine all the way around. Every one of them loaded the same way. Did the same thing in the Buck Mark, the Umarex Buck Mark pistol. It dropped right in, no problem, did not have to push it in. Again, the same thing with the NXG. The only difference is there is you have a bolt where you pull it back. I don't have that with me right here, I'll show you. You pull the bolt back and you drop it in there and push it in. There was no resistance whatsoever at pushing it in, unless I got something screwed up and had the skirt setting wrong. So as far as the pellet itself, I don't know, I'm still out. The Norma and my RWSs are still my favorite. I will definitely say that. They're my favorite over these, because they just seem to shoot a little bit better, as you have seen through the time. Now what we ought to do is take this pellet, and we're not going to do it today, take this pellet out to Cedar Oaks and see what it does at 50 yards. Forget it on the pistol, because if you remember, I shot that pistol at 50 yards and hit the targets. And so that wasn't too bad, but that was with the Norma, the Excite, and the RWS. I really don't think it would do it with this one. But we're going to see what it does. Now the Gamo, as you can see, it did shoot, it did hit good, but there's a lot more impact there, because you're looking at 1,000 feet per second. And I think when we put it on the chronograph, it was anywhere from 800 to 900, something rather like that in there. So, as I said, it's pretty much, you're just going to have to draw your conclusion on this Sig Air pellet. It's a nice pellet, it really is, and I'm not going to complain about the shooting that I had with the Swarm on that, and it really wasn't all that bad with the NXG. Maybe if I'd pump it up to 10 pumps, you know, but I don't always do that, especially for shooting in the backyard, target shooting and that. So as I said, next time we're going to take that out and we're going to fire it at 50 yards and see what happens. Alright, I turned the camera off and I did some shooting. And what I did is I went in and I got some pellets. I got the Norma, the RWS, and the Excite, just to see what had happened. And this is what happened. The RWS, I fired it from the same range that I did with the Sig. It went through. That's the RWS. Next, the Norma. It also went through, kind of on a keyhole, but it went through. It did not penetrate back here though. The same with the RWS. It did not penetrate back here either. The Excite pellet, it did the same thing that the Sig did right here. So it's obviously the gun itself. You know, it didn't seem like it used to have that much problem, so maybe it needs cleaned. I have not cleaned that thing for a while. But as far as the pistol goes, I thought I would just give it a check and see if it is a pellet. Maybe so. The RWS pellet sure did the job. It went through, but it didn't go all the way through. So until next time, shoot safe and have a great day of plinking.